So, heading from Treloar, maybe you pronounce it differently, to McKittrick here. Some really interesting buildings here, including, you see these here, this one. Not really sure what some of those were used for. Yeah, it's very interesting. Now the trail is kind of wet, so I'm picking up a lot of stuff on my bike. But overall, the weather's pretty nice. It's a little windy occasionally. Anytime we get out in the open. Despite what some people think, trees do not create wind. Sorry about my camera not being level. As you can see, since this is the Katy Trail and it was a railroad bed, it's fairly flat. There are a lot of bridges and things like that on this trail. And I guess there would have to be, especially since it runs alongside a river, the Missouri River mainly in this area. So there's going to be a lot of creeks and such that have to run into the river. So they'll have to get through the trail somehow. The variety of bridges was really interesting to see, and the construction of some bridges in particular was very interesting. There are occasionally other people like that one on the trail. Walkers, riders. I didn't see any people on skates or skateboards on this particular trip, but sometimes there are. Now you can use this video how you like. It's meant to be used with a treadmill, and you can listen to me ramble and the sounds of the bike, or you can mute it. Either way, there is a full-length video I will be posting where I won't ramble. I'll just leave it natural sights and sounds, as it were. There is some beautiful scenery along the trail. You get occasional glimpses of the river, and the roads really aren't that far away. If you need to hop off for some reason, you could, even if you're not at one of the actual trailheads. There are just so many intersections with one road or another, or the road's just a short distance away, but sometimes it seems like you're just away from all that, which is really cool. I'm not sure what to do about the camera getting washed out by light in various places. It's not great, but it's not too terrible. I mean, the videos are still to be okay to watch. I don't know if I am using the wrong settings or if it's the wrong type of camera or wrong camera altogether that I'm using. If you know, please let me know in the comments. I've been kind of having issues with the battery life on this particular camera. In general, I like the camera. It seems to do a pretty good job other than the washout. But the battery life is pretty atrocious. And that battery life thing is kind of a theme, so I actually had 4 cameras with me. And the battery died on the camera, so yep, and I had to switch to one of the other cameras. And actually this camera that I'm on right now had to finish out the trip because 2 other cameras had their batteries die, and I just didn't want to keep switching around. And yes, and I'm also dealing with battery life issues on the bike. This is an electric bike I'm riding. So yes, it's just battery technology is unreliable technology. So as the washout goes away, let's see if we can get a nice picture over here on the left. Now some of these apparent gravel roads that cross or even paved, they're often private drives, so not everyone is available for, you know, if you need to hop off. Although I guess in an emergency you have to do what you have to do. The Katy Trail signs just seems to go on and on and on and on. Even though I know it's, 230 something miles long. So I know it's finite. But sometimes when you're out there riding a bicycle, it could go on for forever. Certainly I'm not riding that far in one ride. Or not deliberately, I'm not anyway. This intermittent canopy of trees kind of helps with things like heat and mosquitoes and whatnot. And of course, if it would rain, you could, before too long, get some tree coverage, at least in this area of the trail. It looks like I'm weaving all over the place. Sorry about that. This guy looks really nice. Good golly, what do you do with a drunken bicyclist? Nice flag there. Hey. Better do a sobriety check on this rider. At least this isn't like my road trip the other day where there was a police officer like 1 car length behind me for over an hour. And he just would not back off. If I tapped the brakes at all, he would have hit me. But he did finally turn off. But I'd have gotten pulled over if I was driving like this, for sure. It's kind of interesting how the trees seem to just make those arches right over the trail. Obviously this one's a public road. I don't know what's up with those wooden bars. Sometimes they're both down, sometimes one's down. You know, one side or the other. Sometimes nothing at all. Yeah, a huge section of the trail, I guess, just decided to fall into the river. Just couldn't take it anymore. Quit holding on and whoosh, down to the river. This guy probably couldn't color between the lines either. Trail looked very narrow there. Oh, is this one of those interesting bridges? Yes, it is. Look at the structure of this bridge. Now, the lens on this camera gives everything a little bit of a fisheye look. It's not really all rounded like that. It's more angular. That road there almost touches this one before it crosses. A couple boats over there. They were having some kind of boatman's barbecue convention over there. Honestly, I hadn't eaten lunch. I was getting kind of hungry. The thought crossed my mind to stop and get some barbecue, but I was a little short on time, so that didn't happen. What is that tree thing on the left? Looks like some kind of monster. Several of those tree, bush, whatever it is, things on the left. Like some kind of interesting monster shapes. I like these kind of trees much better. This camera does not, I mean, it's supposed to do stabilization, but you wouldn't know it that this is the stabilized version. I'd hate to see it without image stabilization. Obviously, my balance isn't all that great. And yeah, I'm really having no luck with batteries these days. It's dead. So I had to replace the battery. Or change the battery, I guess I should say. Some beautiful flowers there on the right, though. Look at the sky. Left is blue, right is clouds. I think I bumped the camera because it's tilted the other way. Whoa! Alright, there we go. Level that sucker out. Something very important when you're riding is to make sure to bring water with you and to stay adequately hydrated. Your muscles can seize up, and I'm sure somebody can tell me about all the medical stuff, but if you don't have adequate hydration or you don't have enough food for the energy, you can cause yourself a lot of problems on the trail. Hey, it's not survivability problems necessarily, but it can certainly make the ride very unpleasant and painful, in fact. There's some little town signs along the way, towns I've never heard of before. And of course I don't remember the names, as you drive by, you see the sign, you forget what's on it. I don't want to downplay or diminish in any way the importance of these small towns. It wasn't my priority at that particular moment in time. Lots of moss and stuff on these trees. My camera's listing again. It's better for a moment. There we go. Oh, that's not better. Listing the other way. Whoa! Maybe I should have titled my channel The Tilted Driver. Or Tilted Rider, I guess. I recommend you hold on to something while watching this so you don't slide off. I was aware I was weaving around a good bit, but man, this puts an all new view on that. Oh my gosh. Weave to the left, weave to the right. I have to wonder if the image stabilization is hurting me, or the video, or helping. Maybe I should turn it off and see if it's better than this. Could be worse though. The same camera made the trees dance in some other videos I've posted, or actually those may not be out yet. I'm not sure the exact timing of these. There's a little bit of the Missouri River. I don't know what that red and white checkered or whatever sign there on the left was. There were a number of those that I saw. And that was kind of interesting. There was like a fence on the right to keep you from falling uphill, but nothing to keep you from falling off into the river on the left. Now this trail is a state park, but on either side of it, it's basically private property. Just a few feet away from the actual trail, it becomes private property. Almost everywhere along this section. Now, anywhere the sun hasn't hit, there are places where it's wet and sometimes a tad bit muddy. Not that anything got thrown up, just you'd leave tracks in it. You had wet dust gets picked up on the bike. I mean, that's pretty normal. When I changed out the battery, I had to grab my secondary battery. His battery life's constantly an issue, but yeah, it was just covered in grime. Not that you'd see, but when I grabbed it, that was the battery, then the grime was all over my hands. So yeah, when it's shady, as I was saying earlier, the trail tended to be more wet and muddy and things, and when it was out in the open and sunny like this, it tended to be drier. That didn't mean there weren't puddles from time to time, even in the open areas, but in general, the open areas seem to be drier, as you'd expect. I hope you're enjoying watching this bob and weave ride that I'm doing here. Now, what in the heck? And no trucks were allowed on the Katy Trail. No park ranger markings on there. Hey, is this another one of those interesting bridges? It is. Every so often my camera would make beeping kind of noises. I wasn't sure why, but the camera cut out for a bit here, so I lost an unknown amount of footage. And it seemed to kind of coincide with about where it beeped, so I don't know what was going on with that. Like, it just stopped recording for a bit and then started back up again. When I swapped out the bike battery, for some reason it wasn't fully charged anymore. It was a little over half charged. I don't know how it got dead or low just sitting there. So I was a little concerned about the distance that the bike could go on the second battery. And the fact that it started dropping bars pretty quickly further concerned me. And again, these are issues with electric that need to be addressed. If anyone wants to make this viable, there's a lot of issues that need to be addressed. And of course, if I get a dead battery here, you know, I'm not in good shape. Some more interesting rock formations. Compensate for the low battery charge, I'm putting in a lot of pedal input here, but of course that'll make me tire much more rapidly. You can see the layers in these rocks. Obviously, they're sedimentary rock. Again, I apologize for the bob and weave video. Now, most of the stations have been about 30 minutes or so apart. Some a little closer, some a little further. But, it's bike ride time, 30 minutes apart. And obviously, we're not coming across any stations here. That's not an immediate concern, but again, as I said, I don't want to run out of battery out here. Kind of a lonely section of the trail. I haven't seen any riders for a while. I'm not sure what that white thing over on the left was. Maybe slightly bluish. Every so often these trails have these signs. They're posted rough surface or something like that. And sometimes it's like for, 50 feet or something. I don't think anyone was expecting the Katy Trail to be glass smooth or anything. And yes, sometimes it can be rougher in those areas, but it's not a big deal. This is a very interesting structure on the right. I'm not sure what it's supposed to be. I'm not sure if those three differently colored things are like panels that let the light in. There was this antenna. At the time I thought it was a really interesting array sitting up there, but actually it had just fallen down and was laying on the roof of that structure, whatever that is. How about that view? My battery is running really low on my bike, so I'm kind of anxiously looking for the next trailhead. Those were some interesting bikes. A little bit of a throwback. Where is that next station? Interesting choice for walking dress. Is this the next stop? Doesn't really look like a trailhead here. So I guess it isn't. Interesting structure. Oh, there's the trailhead. Thank goodness, my battery's pretty much done.